What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, continuing my deep dive into Tom Waits' studio catalog. Today, we got Rain Dogs, 9th official studio album, 10th that I'm doing because I did the soundtrack, 1985 release, and I'll give away the ending right now. We've reached the top of the mountain. We are peak Tom Waits, I would argue. We have been climbing steadily since that debut album, which already dropped us. Like, we took a helicopter and dropped ourselves pretty high up this mountain already. So to get to the top really wasn't that far of a climb. But then somehow Tom Waits found a peak we didn't know existed and then ascended to the top of that one. And that's pretty much where we stand here in 1985. There would be other highs. We're not going to fall off the cliff and go away after this one. But I think this is the pinnacle of everything Tom Waits has done, will eventually do. It's a masterpiece. It's a 10. It's S++ tier. It's flawless. It's Tom Waits perfection. I'm going to review this, rank it, though I think I already gave away that ending, though he has other great albums, almost flawless albums, not play music from it, and encourage you to go listen to it if you have not. If you are not familiar with this album, kudos to you for watching a video about an album you're not familiar with. Go listen to it and indulge in it and bathe in it and shower in it and do whatever you need to do and just enjoy its richness, its depth, it still gives. It just gives. It's 40 years later and it's still giving in the best way possible. A lot of things to say about this before we go into the actual songs. One of the recurring lyrics that's in here, at least in 2 different songs, I think it maybe is only in 2 different, is mad as a hatter, or we're mad as hatters, which to me immediately evokes in Alice in Wonderland, surreal, things are mad, that kind of nonsense type vibe. And there is, to a degree, a Lewis Carrollian, Tom Waits' version of a Lewis Carrollian sort of surrealistic nightmare in here. Like, if we're in Alice in Wonderland, we're stuck in the Mad Tea Party, only instead of escaping the Mad Tea Party, we drink way too much tea and then follow the Mad Hatter into his actual home. So we just go darker and deeper into this madness. But I do think there is this almost, as you listen to the album, there is this sort of journey through a series of individual vignettes, like Alice in Wonder goes through all these different sort of episodes, different set pieces. And this almost feels like that's what Tom Waits is doing with us. And the opening song, Singapore, which has to be the opening song, I would argue, takes us in his previous album, Swordfish Trombones, my argument was that the opening song, Underground, almost feels like you're opening a door and this band comes marching out, celebrating the whatever it is you can experience in the underground, and it kind of marches itself around you and then drags you underground, and the rest of the album is your journey through that underground. Singapore does a similar thing, but the way it hits, the way it comes out, the way Tom Waits' sort of persona in Singapore is, I feel like you're in your living room, you're watching something that's safe and comfortable, and maybe you're even eating ice cream or sipping tea, or you're doing whatever you need to do to chill out. And all of a sudden, your front door kicks open. Actually, your back door kicks open. And the next thing you know, Tom Waits is dancing around your living room, singing in your ear, celebrating the joys of Singapore, which, while an actual place in real life, to me in this song evokes vibes of a Bohemia, like a mythical Bohemia, or something like a Shangri-La or Moulin Rouge in its most fantasized form. But it's a place of just it's this mythical version of Singapore that Tom Waits characters inhabit. It could be Los Angeles in a lot of these stories, but I'm taking you with me. Come with me. We're going to this fantastical place. And then the rest of the album is literally just you wandering around Singapore and experiencing all these characters. I do think the interesting thing about this album is it's not a double album officially, but it's 19 songs. It's less than an hour, so it really wouldn't make sense for it to be a double album, but it feels full. It feels like because you have so many songs, you're getting so many different experiences. And it kind of reminds me of a White Album or an Exile on Main Street, where what makes those albums succeed is not that there's any sort of narrative thread or even cohesion to what's going on, as much as it's like, oh, everything this band can do, everything the Beatles can do, somewhere on the White Album. Everything the Stones can do, somewhere on the White Album. Everything Tom Waits can do, somewhere on Rain Dogs. Reminds me of, like, use an analogy of like a master chef. Let's say you're going to a restaurant, like it's your favorite, you go all the time, and this chef has certain things that they serve up, right? Let's combine our music with this restaurant theme. This chef regularly serves you blues, jazz. Desserts have a lot of percussion in them. We get some piano. Back in the day when he first started, was using horns a little bit, kind of has veered away from the horns and the piano, but they're still present in his recipes. There's now maybe a little bit of a new Captain Beefheartian influence that you've heard in like recent years. There's a upbeat stomping vibe in some of maybe his spices that bring a little bit of like mad energy. And there's throughout the lyrics, almost throughout the attitude to so many of the songs, there's almost this post-60s hippie version of Kerouac's beat poetry that's confronted and dealt with the 70s, but has now made it into the 80s and still has, it's still going strong, but it's evolved over the years, but it's very much rooted in like a Kerouacian, like, let me tell you this tale of some down and out people, like in Central California type thing. It's just, there are so many flavors in here, and you know that this chef, Tom Waits, is going to serve those up, but as you eat these dishes and listen to this music and have this experience of Rain Dogs, you're able to pick out these flavors, but they just sound and taste like they never have before. Like everything's been reinvented. And it's really fun to deconstruct this album and be like, oh, there's a blues influence here. Oh, this could have gone on his first album if he wasn't like 10 years on and just wiser and more mature. Oh, this has horns, kind of sounds like one of those 2 or 3. But none of them actually sound like those albums because he's evolved, the music has evolved, and it's just, I don't know, there's a richness to this that is just, it's just exceptional. The title itself, Rain Dogs, fits the lyrics perfectly. The story goes, and I think I read this in a Tom Waits interview, rain dogs are dogs who have lost their way home because it's rained, literally rain dogs, because everywhere they've peed has been washed away. So the scent that gets them home is no longer there. So the people inhabiting these songs are rain dogs. They're lost. They're lost in like a deeply existential way. And they're either searching for a metaphorical home or a literal home, or they're trying to find escape through alcohol or drugs or crime or whatever. These are rain dogs inhabiting these characters. And one more note before I get into the actual songs is there is this sort of Raymond Carver-esque vibe, like it's a collection of short stories taking place in like LA, only this is Tom Waits's version of LA, and these characters might be as flawed or as do things as flawed as sort of Raymond Carver characters, but they didn't start, like maybe it seems like Raymond Carver characters started in a higher place to begin with and then wind their way through decisions into these weird situations, where Tom Waits's people seem to always, like, they're not falling, they just kind of never had a chance to begin with, and so in a way they've always been rain dogs, but it has a short story vibe to it. I was wrong. One more thing I want to say, I love this album, is Singapore, I think, has to be the opening song. It brings you in and then sets you loose. Anywhere I Lay My Head, the closing song, has to be the closing song. It has this drunken exhaustion to it, but it's still trying. Like there's effort in the drunken exhaustion. I think the very first line is my head is spinning around. And I think it's because this is the guy who brought us in. This is Singapore. This is the guy who ushered us into this place. He's been leading us through all these characters and all these tales. Now we're at the end. He's just intoxicated with everything that's happening, but he's like disoriented. He's brought you to the door. He's going to send you out. And as he sends you out, we get this final sort of like horn burst, this just like orgy of like horns that are like, all right, yeah, you made it. Woo, 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 celebration. Now leave. Congratulations. You did it. First and a closer have to be there. I think 2 other songs have to be there. And if you could like do a thing where you shuffled songs, but said, I don't want 1 to shuffle. I don't want 8 to shuffle. I don't want 17 to shuffle. And I don't want 19 to shuffle. Those have to stay there. But everything in between can shuffle. I think it's song number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hang Down Your Head, the 8th song, second to last song on the first side, has to be there. Because it is this pure, comforting, almost melodic type country rock, something Deer Tick could have possibly done. There's a sadness to it. There's a guitar solo to it. It feels like if Tom Waits had not been singing this and the production had been cleaner, like Don Henley could have had a huge, massive hit in '85 with Hang Down Your Head. Rod Stewart, who on a later track would have a huge, massive hit, could have cleaned this song up, I think, and had a huge, massive hit. And Coming Where It Comes, like towards the end of side A, it's almost like this drink of water, like this, hey, sit down, give you a massage, we'll like invigorate you, give you some energy. Here's an energy bar, some Gatorade, and then we're going to push you back out into this world. But it feels like it necessarily has to go at 8. The other song that has to go where it has to go is Downtown Train, which would be there's 2 more after it, so the 17th song. It's another, just from the beginning, classic song. Rod Stewart had a huge hit with it. You know it. It is an absolute, like, it's the diamond in this album where, like, it's just, there's just something special about the song. And Coming Where It Does, at the end of the album, it's just almost Tom Waits flexing, like, I can do this kind of stuff if I wanted to, but I don't. But I'm still going to give it to you just cause. It's just an absolutely amazing song. But the cool thing about this album, the thing that I think makes it really, really work, is while I do enjoy the sequencing, and I think the sequencing works, especially the combination of Hang Down Your Head and Time at the end of side A, which is phenomenal. Rain Dogs, opening side B, phenomenal. I actually think if every other song was shuffled, other than 1, 8, 17, and 19, this would still be a fascinating listen. Because really, other than a couple songs which have that over-the-top type stomping rock energy that he drops like 1 or 2 times on every album after Heart Attack and Vine On, not counting the soundtrack, I feel like any other song could come any other way, and this is still a fantastic album. Because it really is just like you're going through all these weird different characters and these short stories. And while the short stories are connected, they don't need to be in this sequence. I don't think anything's given away if the middle songs are shuffled. And it makes this album just so re-listenable and so fascinating. Singapore opens. Great opener. Junkyard blues funk at its best. Clap Hands is next. This percussion-driven, low-key. I think the first lines are about some are sane, but they're all insane. Clap hands, clap hands. Like almost like he's still like ushering you into this Singapore place and like kind of riling up the audience and like some are sane, some are insane. Welcome to this place now that you're actually inside it. So while this could go other places on the album, it works incredibly well in the second place. And then just so you know that things are going wrong, somebody's got a pistol in his jeans. And, you know, let's go to the whole, what is it? Now I can't remember the author's name. But if a pistol shows up in the first scene, who is that author? Why am I forgetting that name? It's the famous if a gun shows up thing. Some great guitar throughout this whole album. It's just stark, very clean, very bam, 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 bam. Like it sounds like a skeleton's playing it. Some great guitar and clap hands. Cemetery Polka is next. This is sort of your junkyard circus kind of marching craziness. This is almost something like as you're going through Singapore, the cemetery polka just marches across your path and you're like, oh, that's bizarre. Somebody's got a wooden leg. So that there's a pirate aspect to some of these songs. Like you can almost feel like drunken pirates singing some of these things, only they don't just have an accordion. They're like banging on things, and maybe they raided somebody's boat that had actual instruments and they don't know how to play them, but they're just plucking away at it. Just amazing listen. Jockey Full of Bourbon, great guitar lead, little bit of percussion, some nice sway to this one. There's blood. The devil shows up. There's some drinking, some nice snaky guitar lines in here. Yeah, the vibe is fantastic. Tango Till They're Sure, drunken piano with horn vibe. You clean this up. This is old school Tom Waits. This could have gone on one of the first 2 or 3 albums. Just absolutely fascinating song, full-throated, just awesome vocal performance. Big Black Mariah, bigger, bluesier, heavier. This is one of those pounding, just kind of quote-unquote rock numbers that he drops on pretty much every side of an album at this point, it seems like. Great pounding groove, just kind of driven by this percussion vibe. Then we get Diamonds and Gold, which is a little weirder and maybe a little more Beefheartian. You could see Beefheart drop on this on maybe like a Lick My Decals type vibe. Some great percussion. The Mad as a Hatter pops up in this song again, so we get a reference to the Mad as a Hatter again. And then we get side A closes on just a unbeatable 2 notes. Hang Down Your Head, which is just should have been a pop hit. And then Time, which is a gorgeous acoustic ballad that's just, you can hear a little Springsteen in this. I think Springsteen could have done this song and probably nailed it. There's that when Springsteen and Waits all their songs are so much driven by characters and other people's troubles that every once in a while they really, really bring it down and do something kind of more intimate, and like, especially more with Waits than Springsteen, that when he does a song like Time, every other song on here, despite its bombast and despite its percussion and despite its like, let's put everything but the kitchen. No, let's use the kitchen sink for percussion. All of that kind of gets stripped away and you can connect with the heart that's at the core of all of these songs. And a song like Time just like forces you to do that. Beautiful. Rain Dogs is next, the title track. Starts off with some woozy, I'm pretty sure it's accordion. Then we drop into this funky, bouncy, stark guitar, instantly catchy Rain Dog thing. I'm a Rain Dog too. We're all Rain Dogs, people. Midtown is like 59 seconds of crazy, upbeat, big band, jazz, psych weirdness, very aggressive, very like, what's going on here? Ninth and Hennepin, some of the best lyrics he's ever done. It's just like, oh, that line's like, oh, that line's like, oh, that line. They're all just classic lines. This is your iconic Tom Waits in a city, watching people. Like there's a line about people never bring anything. People always bring something. About people bringing something into the bar, and this series of lines about just these people at the bar and why they're there. And it's just like, the lyrics are so descriptive. They are like short stories. Just absolutely amazing. Gun Street Girl, we get like an acoustic back porch type junkyard jam with that sort of 30-aught clang that goes as a sort of metronome throughout the entire thing. Sort of a twisted blues vibe to this. Union Square, we get a downtown. We get that nice screaming urging us to go downtown. This is a big rocker type song, big bouncy sort of rhythm and blues with horns, but like gravelly and rough and urging you to go downtown. This is not a Union Square of like the modern, let's clean it up and do Disney era type thing, right? Isn't it cleaned up now? I don't know. I haven't been there in a while. This is very much a Union Square of decades past. Union Square, is that in LA? Am I thinking of a different place? Am I thinking of Times Square? I think I am. All right, strike that entire last comment. Blind Love, country rock ballad. That works. This sounds like a Deer Tick song. Like I was convinced, every time I hear this, I'm like, didn't somebody cover this? Wasn't this like a huge song? I think Bob Seger did at some point, but it was after this. I did not know that when I researched this. but it just seems so familiar. It seems like it should be a huge country hit. It's just, but it does. It sounds like that 2010 era sort of alt country that was big, Deer Tick especially. Walk in Spanish, awesome sort of bluesy R&B. Walk in Spanish down the hall, bouncy, kind of catchy, really good feeling song. Then we get Downtown Drain, which is just, it's a classic song. Even Stewart's version. I mean, it's such a good song that Rod Stewart even made it work. Absolute just gem. We get Bride of Rain Dog, which is like sort of a jazzy junkyard instrumental, short little number, very Waitsian type instrumental vibe. And then we close out with Anywhere I Lay My Head, which is like, hey man, I'm done. I'm exhausted. I'm going to fall asleep anywhere I lay my head. It's just that kind of night. Thanks for hanging. Gotta go. It's a perfect album. It's a perfect journey. It's a perfect album that can be resequenced and made into another perfect album. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, which all the pieces are the exact same. So you literally could just put them all together anywhere, but it wouldn't make a picture. This one, it makes a picture. You can rearrange them, though I do think those 4 certain songs should stay there. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's amazing. The last one, Swordfish Trombones. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It was amazing. But this one just turns up the heat a little more and delivers just a little more. Where would I rank this among all the others? Clearly, it's number 1. It's just a masterpiece. I mean, clearly. I've made that clear. This album's a masterpiece. To these ears. All right. Even Rod Stewart could not ruin it. All right, that's all I got, people. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Let me know your thoughts on this album, on Tom Waits, on Rain Dogs, all that stuff. Go listen to it. Check it out. Peace. Talk to you later.